next story, though. Oh, yeah. So speaking of RT, there we go with information. Speaking of RT, the EU banned RT. I know, crazy, right? The EU has officially banned RT. I've been seeing people posting about it. So let's go ahead and watch this video of whoever this is. I think she's like the EU. Hold up. The European Commission chief, I guess. The European Union lady. She's like the president of the European Union or whatever. I don't fucking know who this lady is. Let's get into this joint. Let's get into the next story. So this is the EU president, and here's what she had to say.
In another unprecedented step, we will ban in the European Union the Kremlin's media machine. The state-owned Russia. In another unprecedented step, we will ban in the European Union the Kremlin's media machine. The state-owned Russia Today and Sputnik, as well as their subsidiaries, will no longer be able to spread their lies to justify Putin's war and to sow division in our union.
What are they going to do? So my question is, if you want to ban RT, like, I don't think you should do that. I don't think that's good. I actually pulled up I got two videos that we're going to react to and watch. I got Richard Medhurst's reaction to it and just a regular RT panel. I started watching the video a little bit and I kind of liked what the guy was saying, so I figured I'd just react to it, in full length on the stream. But just off the top, my reactions, you know what? I'll just leave you on that. Let's get into Richard Medhurst and see what he had to say about it.
Has banned RT and Sputnik, the two news outlets. Yep. So as part of the sanction.
Let me go full screen, actually. There we go.
Sanctions on Russia. They've not only sanctioned Russia's central bank and removed Russia from the SWIFT international banking system.
Seeing Ursula von der Leyen, the European Commission president, announcing that the EU, I'm just reading here, the quote, will ban.
A video just started randomly. I'm sorry about that.
Not only blocked Russian airplanes from flying over Europe or using European airspace.
We're going to be talking about that Friday.
But now they've even banned RT. Here's the head of the EU Commission.
And RT does a way better job than American media. Say what you want about them, their biases or anything like that, but, they do an amazing job. Way better than mainstream media. I watch a lot of their shows on there regularly. Like, I watch Going Underground with that guy. I cannot pronounce his name, so I'm not even going to fucking attempt to. Who else? I watch Rick Sanchez here and there. It's like an Asian woman. I forget what her name is. I watch her here and there. Like, they give good commentary, dude. And it's like a couple old stories. Like, there's this old story that they did about Chavez sending fuel to warm people's houses during the winter. And guess where? America. Because Americans couldn't afford to heat their own homes in their own fucking country. Hugo Chavez sent fuel up here to allow Americans to do that. I may play that video on the stream one day. Craziness. I have to find it in my I had to find it in the Bendu archives. But yeah.
Listen to what she has to say.
In another unprecedented step.
So we heard this.
We will ban in the European Union the Kremlin.
Right? So much for freedom of expression in the Western world. Isn't that amazing? So here's from The Guardian. The EU is to ban Russian state-backed channels RT and Sputnik. The EU has announced it will ban the Russian state-backed.
I know, doesn't Jamal Charles he does a radio show on Sputnik, if I'm not mistaken. That's what I'm saying. A lot of people here that you like are going to be affected. Like, I know Caleb Maupin was talking about it. He's not afraid about it if it does happen, if they drop the hammer on them. So far, it looks like in America, all they've done so far here is what is it? They've taken the ads down so they can't make money off of ads on YouTube. That's what I've seen so far.
Channels RT and Sputnik in an unprecedented move against the Kremlin media machine. The European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said Russia Today and Sputnik, as well as their subsidiaries, will no longer be able to spread their lies to justify Putin's war and to sow division in our union. We are developing tools to ban their toxic and harmful disinformation in Europe. Spread their lies, toxic disinformation. I want to ask you something, Madam Commissioner. Are you so threatened by me making videos in my bedroom? The Kremlin media machine. Oh,
dude, this is exactly how I be feeling sometimes when they talk about like people on YouTube spreading disinformation. Like, dude, I'm like literally in my fucking basement doing this shit right now. I'm in my basement. I like to joke and say I'm in my mom's basement. We're doing this shit right now. I like.
Did you know Putin is actually standing over me, watching every word I type and every word I say?
Richard, you better make me look good. Tell them I wrestle best.
People are so pathetic. They're so pathetic. Honestly, they talk about human rights and free speech and democracy every single day, and they use it to put sanctions on other people and starve them to death, and they use it to bomb countries, and then now they have the nerve to talk about toxic media lies. I mean, Jesus Christ, if you're going to ban RT, let me ask you, where were the sanctions on the American banks, on the European banks, on the European leaders and the American TV channels, the British TV channels who lied about weapons of mass destruction? This is a quantifiable scientific fact that more people died as a result of the US-UK invasion of Iraq than in Ukraine.
Millions. People died by the millions. And then talking about, to talk about TYT, Anna Kasparian's very own interviews Madeleine Albright, who said it was worth it that they had to kill 500,000 Iraqi children back in the 90s via sanctions. So that when people tell you sanctions don't, they're a peaceful way out, fuck you. They're not. I've talked to people who have people that live in countries that are sanctioned, and it's not fun. It's not fun. Richard himself talked about his cousin, who he brings on the show every now and then. And he talked about how his cousin literally told him that, with all the Civil War, all the craziness that was going on during the Civil War, ISIS running around, blowing people's shit up, chopping people's heads off, all types of crazy shit that ISIS was doing and those nut jobs. He would rather live under the sanction, or he would rather live through all that again than live under the sanctions. It's because they're that bad. So anybody that tells you, sanctions are a peaceful way, fuck you. They're not. They're a means to starve people. They do sanctions to get people desperate enough to overthrow, whatever government they're trying to target at the time. That's what sanctions are for.
Not only that, but it resulted in a lot of internal violence. And then, of course, the emergence of ISIS, the entire region destroyed in the last 20 years. If you're going to punish RT, what about the people who started that war?
New York Times.
Are you really?
Washington Post. I don't know what the Guardian was putting out at that time. All of them, but they were all. Whenever there's a war, they're all in concert with each other. They all are.
Really serious. It's incredible. And then over here, they say that YouTube has banned ads on RT and other Russian channels.
On the stream.
I mean, that's not as substantial, but nevertheless, you can see, of course, the corporate arm moving and acting on this. This is really, really funny.
So
this is really funny.
I wanted to give you a flavor of what Richard had to say. Feature him on the show. Maybe one day he'll come on the show. But yeah, Richard is he's a great source for news. I would definitely recommend checking his channel out. I've been following his coverage of the Russia-Ukraine conflict in tandem with my own research. So Richard is a great resource. And I believe he works at RT as well. So there you have it. They're silencing independent journalists now. This is a move, honestly. This goes into with the COVID stuff. This goes in with the Great Reset stuff, all that stuff, the World Economic Forum. They're trying to crack down on information. They're trying to block information out that actually informs people instead of propagandizing people. And, people like Richard get hurt. People like Caleb get hurt. The gray zone, people like that. Look how they go after the gray zone. Now, I know Ben Norton, he's left a bad taste in a lot of you guys' mouth, but even somebody like Ben Norton as well, Eva Eva Bartlett. I hope I'm saying her name right. It's so many other people that I'm not mentioning right now too. What's his face? What's his name? Oh my God. Nico House. I can't believe I was drawing a blank on his name. Nico works for RT. I think he's like a correspondent. He's something like that. So it's insanity, dude. They're trying to block information. That is what they're trying to do. So it's crazy to see. I guess we could watch this panel too to see what they hitting for.
Russian media outlets, that's RT and Sputnik, accusing us of spreading harmful disinformation. We try our best to put a balance across. We're licensed by Ofcom in the UK and Europe. They've deemed us to be okay to license. We are, of course, going to put the Russian point of view.
But it's the Russian oligarchs that are paying them off.
What's wrong with that?
That's probably what Rachel Maddow's response will be.
What's wrong with it is that it's totalitarian.
Take a shot.
You don't suppress media outlets. That's a basic principle. If the EU is going to suppress RT and Sputnik, that means European Union citizens will no longer be able to watch those channels. No one forces.
That motherfucker's spitting, bro. Let's run that shit back. That nigga just spit a hot ass 16 right there, bro. Hold on, let me take my shot real quick. I'm gonna take a shot to this nigga, whoever this is. Take a shot to that nigga. Woo! Speaking of, since we're in the talking about Brits, I just took me a shot of scotch. Very well, very well. Little bit rough, but very well. Continuing. My British accent is
totalitarian.
Shitty. But I like motherfuckers. He sounds principled. We'll see if he starts talking some bullshit, but he sounds principled. I like principled motherfuckers, bro. I like that.
What's wrong with that?
Well, what's wrong with it is that it's totalitarian. You don't suppress media outlets. That's a basic principle. If the EU is going to suppress RT and Sputnik, that means European Union citizens will no longer be able to watch those channels. No one forces them to watch them. It is a measure that she has announced which drastically reduces the liberties of EU citizens. I'm sure it doesn't make a slightest bit of difference to Russia.
It doesn't.
But it
really
does make a difference to people who want to watch RT and Sputnik. And I mean, we've got used to totalitarianism for 2 years now with all the COVID.
Like if they block the I mean, look, I'll use like a VPN or whatever I got to do. But if they block it here, like that's crazy, bro. That might be like, dude, that should be a warning sign to a lot of people that like, look, a lot of us are already on go. Niggas like, we know what's going on, but that's like, man, that's crazy, man.
But this is in the same category. In any case, what laws is she claiming to be operating under? The EU doesn't have that authority.
Exactly.
Any more than it has the authority, by the way, as far as I know, to close airspace, as you mentioned in your report.
So we'll come to that in a minute. I suppose you can still watch us at RT.com on a live section. You can watch the television feed. We'll be broadcasting to most of the rest of the world. But how soon do you think
this is why I keep telling y'all, find alternative outlets. You got Odyssey out there. I'm on there. You got Rockfin. You got Rumble. Find alternative outlets. YouTube's gonna, they're gonna yeet me probably soon. I won't be surprised. I'm just not big enough yet. But once I start, growing some more, share your boys, subscribe, like, comment, share, all that. But yeah, once I get big enough, they're gonna start yeeting me. They started fucking with Franco when he got to a certain size. You see how that is. He literally has to stop streaming to YouTube whenever he's talking about Corona because they got like 2 strikes on his channel. And all he's doing is, talking about factual shit. So it's insanity, man.
This is going to come in. It was expected.
Maybe it was, but I am above all. I mean, independently of the issue between Russia and NATO and Ukraine, I think anyone watching this, any European citizen watching this, should be deeply preoccupied by this.
Unfortunately, I don't know what this guy's politics is, but unfortunately, a lot of leftist, quote unquote, air quotes, leftist, they don't agree with him. They think it's okay to censor, to get disinformation out here. We have to protect marginalized groups from disinformation. We have to protect LGBTQ rights, and that's not me shitting on those people. That's me saying that this is in the Democrat and basically liberal playbook to use identity politics to push the most nefarious shit they're trying to fucking do.
The assault on his own rights, his or her own rights. You mentioned just now in your...
This is what they did during the Cold War when people were okay with the government putting people on lists because they were tracking down the communists. And, you know, a lot of people were hurt, blacklisted. It wasn't just actors. It was teachers, you know, other union work. It was so many people, dude, so many people. And they're perfectly okay with this.
Report from London about the seizure of assets belonging to Russian oligarchs in London. Well, what happened to due process? What happened to property rights? Are we really saying that from one day to the next, somebody's property can be taken away just because they're deemed to be politically close to Russia? This is literally dictatorship. I don't want to sound hysterical, but somebody has to pull the alarm bell on this and say that these kinds of measures undermine the very thing which the British government and other European governments claim to be standing for, namely the rule of law and democracy.
It's an horrific situation from everyone concerned in Ukraine.
So it looks like they're about to move into the airspace, and I might actually use this clip again. I want to save it for Friday. But yeah, it's fucking crazy. It's fucking crazy. Let me run back because I want to hear that last part that he said.
Kinds of measures undermine the very thing which the British government and other European governments claim to be standing for, namely the rule of law and democracy.
Exactly. That motherfucker's spitting, bro. That motherfucker's spitting. So, let me bring it back. Bring it back. Bring them out. But, yeah, your boy back. You looking at my sexy ass face again. How y'all doing? No nigga cute as shit. Yeah. I can't help being cute, bro. I'm sorry, but I'm joking. But yeah, that's, you know, they don't actually stand for those things. That's what people in the West need to understand. Your government doesn't stand for freedom and democracy. And this is my rule of thumb when it comes to foreign policy. Whenever the United States says they want to bring freedom and democracy to a country, best believe they're going to bomb it to fucking hell. So if you live in that country, they say they're trying to bring freedom and democracy, run away as far as you can, or you better get ready for a fucking fight to fend them off, because they're bringing bombs, baby. That says that they're bringing bombs with the words freedom and democracy on them. And we're coming for your fucking oil. I think Jimmy Dore had this joke on his show one day. He was like, when I read in the newspaper that Venezuela was the largest oil reserve in the world, that's when I understood why we're trying to bring freedom and democracy to them. And it's hilarious. But hang on. I'm going to get to your comments in a minute. I'm going to read them. Just give me 1 second. But yeah, dude, it's fucking that. They don't stand for those things. That's the problem. You know, they talk all day about China doing things like this. And that's one of my critiques of China. I do think they shouldn't be censoring things. I'm against censorship. That's one of my actual legitimate critiques against China. Yeah. They say this about all these other countries, and it was funny. I'm gonna play that. I'm gonna see if I have it or if I can find it on YouTube. This was hilarious. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna try and find this. Here we go. Here we go. So this is a BBC reporter getting fucking destroyed by basically a fucking dictator in Azerbaijan. I think it's safe to say that. If I'm wrong, I will correct that. But he seems like a dictator. I'm just going to be honest. He looks like one. He looks like he's probably going to try to fuck your wife at gunpoint. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Oh, my God. But yeah, he destroys this lady, man.
Restrictions. And the number of internet users in Azerbaijan is more than 80%. Can you imagine the restriction of media in a country where internet is free, there is no censorship, and there are 80% of internet users? We have millions of people on Facebook. How can you say that we don't have free media? This is, again, a biased approach. This is an attempt to create a perception in Western audience about Azerbaijan. We have opposition, we have NGOs, we have free political activity, we have free media, we have freedom of speech. But if you raise this question, can I ask you also one? How do you assess what happened to Mr. Assange? Is it a reflection of free media in your country?
We're not here to discuss.
We're not here to discuss that. We're here to shit on you, little brown man. We're here to shit on you and your human rights abuses. Fuck out of here.
No,
Fuck out of here.
no, President
In order
Aliyev.
to accuse me, saying that Armenians will not have free media here, let's talk about Assange. How many years he spent in Ecuadorian embassy, and for what? And where is he now? For journalistic activity.
It's fucking hilarious. I think I covered it on the channel before, but this never gets old.
Actually killing him morally and physically. You did it.
This is all they have to do anytime, whether the country's justified or not in saying this. The fact still stands. So look at what you're doing to Julian Assange. Look at what you guys did to David Webb. Look at what you guys do to any journalist that actually is getting to the truth. They don't even jail them sometimes. They pay their little cronies in the media to smear them and blackball them like they did with Chris Hedges. And now, if you're a journalist that's worth a damn, you slip through the cracks every now and then with actually good questions, or you just don't. You're not in these outlets and you're doing independent media like what they're doing at the Gray Zone and what Ben Norton is now doing with his own thing. That's a whole nother story. But they're doing independent media. People like Richard, people like Jimmy, all these different journalists. Not TYT, not Majority Report, not those guys. They're State Department socialists. I heard through the grapevine that Sam Cedar doesn't care that the State Department gets a lot of fucking money. That's what I heard. I don't know how true that. They're not journalists. If you're a journalist and if you call yourself a journalist and you're okay with the State Department getting more funding, I don't know how to. I do know how to feel about you, fucking bozo. Let's finish this video though.
And now he's in prison. So you have no moral right to talk about free media when you do these things.
Returning to the conflict.
Returning to the conflict because I just got sauced by a literal dictator.
Better return to the
because I got schooled by a literal dictator on journalistic freedoms. Look at her face. Hold on, let's look at it again. Look at her face.
These things.
Returning to the conflict.
Better return to the conflict because this is not what you like. You like only to accuse, only to attack. But look at the mirror. Bro. Look, I tell many times.
Right after this nigga about to go have a big-ass orgy right after this job, bro. Oh, my God. Look at him, bro. He said, I fuck that bitch up. I'm about to go fuck a couple bitches after this, man.
Before coming and lecturing us, and in your question, accusing me, it's not a question. It's accusation. You talk like a prosecutor. Why? If you're so democratic and so objective, why you keep Assange in prison? For what? You keep him in prison because of his journalistic activity.
I'm not keeping him in prison, President Aliyev. But
You're keeping him in prison in the court of public opinion. You are. But with your silence.
Like this.
It's not a question of don't like.
You are not used to this.
It's not the subject of our interview.
Only to attack.
It's not the subject of our interview. And with respect, President Aliyev.
It is not the subject of interview, but you raise it.
You raised it.
No, bitch, you raised it. And he gave you an example of how y'all motherfuckers are fucking hypocritical fucks. So let's
you raised
so yeah, there's that bloodbath. That was hilarious. That was so hilarious. Oh my God, that was so hilarious. A journalist getting schooled my God. A journalist getting schooled by a literal fucking dictator about journalistic freedoms. Only in the West, man. Only in the West, man. These countries, they're hypocritical fucks.